Wait for it. Wait for
Okay.
it.
There you go. Is it there? Not yet.
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies,
Oh,
okay, let's see how this works. Okay, I think we're live now. So you guys can actually share your the watch
watch
party.
party. Yep.
I don't see it yet on my phone.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Woohoo!
So for the very first time, so I'm still going to use the Zoom.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So in 2 minutes we will begin our episode. This is our. I think it's Jill first
Wait for
Facebook
it.
Live episode.
There you go. Is it there? Not yet.
Okay, so ladies, I need you to put your Facebook Live on silent mode.
I
Yeah.
mean, you'd have to mute it.
Yes, you
I
see,
just did.
this is what I love about Facebook Live. You know, we're showing our true colors here, and what's happening actually like before the show starts. So this is what we do. Are you ladies ready for this? So I want everyone to see how Expose and Express is doing before our show. So before I actually welcome everyone, I would love everybody here today to exercise
Come on.
our faces. This is a dream come true for Jill. All right. So let's begin with just like
Yay!
saying, ah.
Ah,
Yeah,
She's not showing it.
ah, mm.
All right. So now we have to get serious this time. So I hope that everybody's already shared their share the post. And so let me begin. Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Expose and Express Online Talk Show. I'm Jenny Umali and I'm your host, as always. And I want you to welcome my very loving and amazing and successful co hosts, Burns, Jill, and Rochi.
Hi.
All right. So thank you so much for saying yes for today's Facebook Live. And I would want to introduce to you the amazing Bongai Mhloyi. So I hope that I hope that I actually pronounce your name right, because I'm
Yes.
really having a hard time pronouncing names, even my name. By the way, I'm Jenny Umali, and thank you guys for watching us today. And I want to introduce our beautiful and amazing guest for today. She is originally came from or born and raised in Zimbabwe, and she is the CEO and founder of Aaylf. And later on, we are going to talk to her about her story and what was her biggest dream and intention for this beautiful purpose and mission in life. So it's an amazing story. I know Bongai to like one of our or I mean yes, we met at Coffee Connect with
Mhm.
Melissa, and I'm really grateful for my Coffee Connect because that is the platform where we actually meet a lot of people, business owners, entrepreneurs, and we just collaborate. And of course, like it's a wonderful feeling to really have a relationship with your fellow coaches, fellow entrepreneurs, and business owners. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm not gonna take this too long. I'm excited to meet. I want you to meet Bongai Mhloyi. So Bongai, my first question is: I'm so sorry if I'm struggling because I'm still sleepy. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here in California. So Bongai, my first question is: what is your past story? This is actually my favorite question of
Okay.
all time. What is your past story? Can you please bring us back to your life, like 40 years ago? And I
Okay.
know that you're ready for this. And thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to like showcase your life story, and of course your mission and your purpose in this world. And I am so proud of you, and I can't wait for you to really share that to all of us right now.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay!
First of all, I want to say thank you, Jenny, and to all the panelists there for having me here. This is a dream. I've been waiting for this day today. So thank you for having me here. And yeah, I would be glad to take you 40 years back when I was in Zimbabwe. So yeah, my name again is Bongai Mhloyi, and I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. And I came to this country in 1985 with my husband in search of a higher education, which we both did. And okay, let me go back to, I think it was way back in the late 70s or early 80s, maybe around 1980, 81. My family, my mother, my mom, and my siblings, my mom and my dad, we were 11 children, 8 girls and 3 boys. And my grandparents, which is my mother's parents, they lived maybe about 2 miles from where my parents live, where we lived. So every day we'll be able to see my grandfather or my grandmom. They can come to our house, they will go to their house. So it was really nice, we could see them every day. So one day, this young girl came to my grandfather's house, my grandparents' house. Her name was Lucia. I still remember her name up to today, Lucia. So she came, she was about 11 or 12, we were about the same age. Some of my sisters were a little bit older, maybe a year older, some were younger, of course. So we were wondering, what is this, who is this girl? Who is she? What is she doing here? All of a sudden, she just came. We didn't know where she came from. We didn't know what was going on. So we were asking my mom, and my mom would tell us that she is your grandmother now. You have to call her grandmother.
Ooh.
And just to hear that, I was like, call her grandmother? She's our age. How can I call somebody who's the same age as me? How do I call her grandmother? She's not my grandmother. So my grandmother will say, yes, she's your grandmother. She's my father's wife. And just to hear that, I was like, oh my gosh, she's my grandfather's wife. And at the time, my grandfather was 75 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yes, 75 years old. So you can even imagine, even now when I think about it, I'm like, 11-year-old, 12-year-old with a 75-year-old male to be her husband, to be sleeping in the same room with this old man. Because even I'm like in my 50s now, my children, my kids, they think I'm so old now, and they're in their 30s. So I kind of think about this girl, she's 12 and she is forced to be with this old man.
Yeah.
How scary that is, how terrifying that is. And we could see on her face that she was so terrified. She was miserable. So anyway, we were calling her grandmother because that's what we were told. So
you call her grandmother?
Huh?
Do you call her grandmother?
We had to call her grandmother, yes, because she's my grandfather's wife. That's how it is in Zimbabwe.
Wow.
So if your grandfather has 2, 3 wives, you call all of them grandmother because that's his wife. So we were supposed to call her grandmother because she's my grandfather's wife. And, as children, we'll be playing outside, we'll be dumping rope and playing with Barbie dolls. She's not allowed to do that with us. And my sisters and I, my brothers and I were going to school, and she's not allowed to go to school with us. And she would cry every day, how come I can't go to school? And she wanted to be a school teacher. I remember her saying that, I really wanted to be a school teacher. I wanted to teach other children. So she was not allowed to go to school. She was not allowed to play outside with us. One time I remember we were playing outside, in the rain. I remember this. And my grandmother she snuck out and came out and played with us. So my grandmother saw her and she ran outside and grabbed her to come back in the house because she's not allowed to play with, children. She's not a child anymore. She's somebody's wife, which was really, and she would cry to go back in the house and she would cry and, her face would be like down all the time. So that's really, it's like it was a miserable situation for her. And the reason she was with my grandfather was that her family was so poor and backwards, back then. and her family received 10 cows from my grandfather. 10
Wow.
cows, yeah. So that's how she became his wife, because her parents gave her to my grandfather in order to receive these 10 cows from him. You know, that's
What year
how
is
it
this,
happened.
Bongai?
Huh?
What year is this?
I think it was between 1979 and 1980 or 81, somewhere
Wow.
there. Yeah.
It's not that far. Like, I
No,
mean,
it's not far. Even today, it still happens. You know, you'd be like, okay, this is 2020, but it still happens in some parts of Zimbabwe. Not only Zimbabwe, but in a lot of different countries in
yes.
Africa. You know, some families are still very backwards, and some of them are doing that because they're poor. You know, there's hunger in the family, so they will sell their daughters to get married, you know, to these old people who might, for example, my grandfather, he was considered rich because I think he had like more than 100 cows that belonged to him.
Wow.
He had a farm, so he was like the rich guy in the community. So, you know, that's how he was able to give 10 cows to this young girl's parents, and then she was forced to come and live with her. So yeah, I mean, it still happens. And this young girl ended up running away a couple of years later. She actually told us that, you know, I'm not going to stay here, I'm going to run away. But she said, don't tell him, meaning my grandfather, don't tell my grandmother either, because they will try by all means to stop her from running away. So she ended up running away, and my grandfather was like, where is Lucia? Where did she go? We kept quiet because, you know, we thought about it. I'm like, I would like to be with this, you know, somebody this old, and I'm not allowed to play, you know, something like that. So she ran away, and thank God, I think about it today. I said, thank God she didn't have any children with this old man.
Yeah.
And she ran away. We didn't even know where she went. And nobody really followed up to see where she went. But I just prayed that wherever she went, you know, things worked out for her.
So wait, I missed that. I missed that. So she went away? Like she ran away?
She ran away.
Years. After 2 years, she ran away.
So she's like probably, like if she's 11, 12, 13, 14 years old?
She ran away when she was 14, yeah.
Wow. Well, I would
But
run away.
I don't know how she didn't become pregnant, because, you know, they were sleeping in the same room, the three of them, with my grandmother, my mother's mother, her, and my grandfather.
Wow. Is a common thing that happens in Zimbabwe?
It's common, yes. It's common, but with the law, after several years, I would say going back, not even too long, but 5 years ago, the government passed the law that if you marry somebody who is under the age of 18, you will be prosecuted. It's against the law.
Oh,
But trust me, it's still happening. Even those that are supposed to enforce the law, they don't enforce it. But in the towns, in like civilized areas, they do follow the law. And if you break that law, you actually can go to jail, and you can lose a lot of things, you know, by, you know, sleeping with somebody who is under the age of 18. But in most rural areas, even the police, they don't even question you. You can still marry that, you know, 12-year-old, and those parents, they can still marry off their, you know, young daughters. It's still happening, although the law says, you know, it's against the law, but people still do it.
Wow.
So it's really part of the culture then.
It's part of the culture, and also as part of the culture in Zimbabwe, a lot of families that are still backwards and poor, most of the people who do this are the poor people. So a lot of them will have this belief in their mind that if you educate a girl, you are wasting your money. Why? Because she's going to go get married somewhere else. And you are supposed to educate the boy because he carries the family name, and he's going to continue on with school, get a job, and support the family. Where else the girl, you know, if you educate the girl, she's gone. She's at somebody else's family. So a lot of girls end up with this terrible disadvantage because they are going through gender biases. They're going through, you know, they get everything, and they are forced into these marriages. You know, even now, when I think about it with the pandemic, because the girls are supposed to be doing most of the chores at home, so they're mostly at home, whereas the boys can go and play and do whatever they want to do. So the girls are always stuck at home, and a lot of things happen when you are stuck at home all the time. So that's what happened to this young girl, and that's, part of my life. And when I came to this country in 1985, after I finished school, I started supporting people before I even started my nonprofit organization. So I started, when I was working, I started helping, the young vulnerable girls, because even when I was going to school, I was lucky enough that my parents, they were really pro-education. They wanted, their children to go to school. Although we were 11, they were able to send all of us to school, at least up to a higher education. Whereas now all my sisters, my brothers, we are all working. Most of my sisters, they are school teachers. Some of them are business people. They have their own businesses. My two brothers are auto mechanics. They have their own garages. So, we are all good. But as a young girl going to school, a lot of my friends, I witnessed them dropping out of school because of poverty, because they couldn't pay for the school fees. So I saw a lot of my friends dropping out, and of course they'll be crying, oh my gosh, I want to come to school, but I couldn't pay for the school fees. So once you drop out, you are home, you're not doing anything. That's when the parents, the father will be like, okay, instead of you just staying here at home, you might as well go get married.
Oh
So
my, I can't even imagine like how that would feel for a child, being married off to someone who's older, and they're not mature enough like to raise another child.
yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. You think about it, it's unimaginable. And most of these marriages, they end up breaking. They're not going to last forever because, for example, in my grandfather's situation, he was 75, the girl was 12, and he can't live to be 300 years. He's probably going to die before she is even 20. So if she had children, she's going to be stuck with these children, supporting these children by herself. So the cycle of poverty continues, it doesn't end, because now she's not working, she's not educated, she's stuck with these children to support. And a lot of times, like you said, Burns, their bodies are not, mature enough to be bearing all these children. So they end up sick, they end up with all kinds of different, kinds of diseases. And sometimes the children are sick themselves. So it's a lose-lose situation. Nobody wins in this situation. So yeah, it's not good.
Wow. So how do you help them in terms of, you know like empowering them? Like how do you put
How do
that?
we empower them? Thank you for that. I will be glad to share that. So to go along with the story, when I came here, when I finished school, I started working, and I started my nonprofit organization, which is American and African Youth Leadership Foundation, and is abbreviated AAYLF. So what I do with my Zimbabwean girls, my vulnerable girls, I raise funds here, I do events here, I raise funds, and then I give scholarships to these young girls so that they can stay in school. And over there, once they are in school, they are safe. They are no longer at risk of being married off, because they are being married off because they don't have the parents or whoever is the guardian, whoever is taking care of them.
Yeah.
Because in some cases, the parents are not there, they probably died, and they don't have the money to pay for the fees. That's why they said, go and become somebody else's responsibility, go get married.
Yeah.
And so I give them scholarships so that they can stay in school. And another way I do that by asking people, individuals, companies. I know you, Burns, you sponsored a girl. So I ask different people to sponsor, each individual girl. Some people are sponsoring like 2 girls. So they sponsor them, they pay for their fees. And for the school fees there in Zimbabwe, the school system, from grade 1 up to grade 7, it's not a big deal. They don't pay that much.
Yeah.
And once they
So,
transition,
Bongai, I actually want to talk to you about that later on, so we
Okay.
can really like invite people
okay.
with your fundraising and whatnot. So,
Okay.
Rochi, do you have any question for Bongai?
Hi, Bongai. Thank you for sharing
Hi,
your
Raj.
story.
Nice
I'm
meeting you.
Rochi. Yeah, so I'm just curious, okay? Because you said you first went to the United States so that you'll further your education with your husband, right? What
Yes.
made you decide to stay?
Well, in the beginning, we didn't decide to stay. So when I came here in 1985, my husband's family, he got his brother here, his sisters here, 2 sisters, 2 brothers were here. One got their, one brother and his wife got their PhDs at Penn State University. The other one went to Cheney University in Pennsylvania, and they went back. So that's how my husband also was able to get, he applied, his family applied for him. He got accepted at Cheney University, and then we both came, we went to Cheney. So we said, okay, you know, after 4 years, after we got our degrees, we go back to Zimbabwe, and I did social work. So I wanted to be a social worker anyway. That was my dream. So I said, when I go back to Zimbabwe, I'm going to be in social work. My husband did computer science. That was his thing. And he wanted to do computers and teach computers over there in Zimbabwe. But for some reason, we are still here. This is like 30 something years later, but we stayed because we kind of kept going, because once we got our first jobs, we, you know how sometimes you say, okay, I'll work for a couple of years and then I will save up a few dollars and then I go back. And it kept going like that. And then a few years later, my husband started graduate school. He finished, and then I said, oh, let me do my graduate school as well. You know, I did that. And we kept going, and then we kept working and working, and before you know it, we bought a house. I'm like, okay. So, so
That's amazing.
we decided to stay because we were working. And then the biggest thing that made us stay was the opportunity that we get here in the United States is different from what you will get in Zimbabwe. Here you can work, you can get your money, you can get paid, and you can. Actually, I'm supporting a lot of my families in Zimbabwe, and my husband as well is supporting their families, because we can work, we get money, and if we send like $100, US dollars over there, it's a lot of money. It's actually teachers over there, they make $100 a month, US dollars. But if you make it in the Zimbabwean dollar, they get their own currency there. But we are able to help our families more by staying here than if we went back to Zimbabwe.
And you know what, actually, Bongai, that's what I'm gonna really ask you. Like, you see, there's like a purpose why you're here.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's like God actually really gave you this mission, this purpose, so you can be more of service to a lot of people in your country. And I am still actually shocked by hearing all this. I know that I already met you like a couple of times, and we've been very close. And of course, Burns here also is part of the Aaylf. Yes. And so I actually have just one question. Were you really scared to find out that your grandfather is having a relationship with someone who's your age? And I know that you just don't do this like just because you want to help them. I know that there's something in your heart that was triggered at some point, like you kept it in your heart for a very long time. And I know that you didn't start Aaylf until you're already stable. So have you been kept that trauma in your heart for a very long time? And did you even tell yourself that this is not going to happen to me, and I'm not going to allow my children to go through the same situation where that little girl experienced with the hand of your father? And I understand also that your father is not a bad person. It's just that it is what it is. It's part of the culture. We cannot say that it's bad. We cannot say that it's good. But again, it is up to you if it's against your will or not, right?
Yes.
So I just feel bad that these things are happening. So I really want to know the core of your feelings with why.
Yes.
Why is your Aaylf happy? What is the reason why you want to pursue your mission and your purpose?
Absolutely. That's an awesome question. You ask a lot of different questions there in one question. So I'll try to answer all the questions you did ask me. I started this nonprofit organization because that little girl that I saw, and to the face that I saw when she was in that situation, it never went away from me. Personally, I wasn't scared, but I was just scared for her. I was scared for her because she was forced to be there. And my father, he swore that he will never do that to us, to his children. But like you said again, my grandfather did that for at that time. It was something normal. He wasn't going to go to jail for doing that. He did that, but just for the fear that was in that young girl, that never went away for me. And I tried to put myself in her shoes to say, okay, if this was me, being forced to be with this man, with this old man, he was really, really old, 75, and this was like way back then. And the terror, the trauma that went in that young girl's head, that never went away for me. That's why I made it a point that I will try by all means to make sure that this is not going to happen to whatever I can do to help some other little girls from this kind of situation, I will do. And as I was, growing older, financially on my own self, after professionally, and I was able to get a few dollars, for myself by working, I wanted to help as many girls as I can. And what really drove me to do this, like I said, I never forgot that little girl that I saw. But for me personally, I wasn't scared because I knew I was safe. My parents were, we were like, really, we're not like rich, people, but we were very happy family, and we were close family. All of us, even today, my parents are grown up, but my sisters and my brothers were very still a close family. So I was safe personally. But again, like I said, I witnessed a lot of people that were not in the same situation, that were not as fortunate as I was, for going to school, not, being scared of being married off. I saw a lot of girls that went through that. And the terror that I saw on their faces, that's what made me say, I'm going to do something about this. Yeah. I know I'm not going to save the whole Zimbabwe, but that little portion that I'm going to save, it's going to be.
Were you like, did you feel like any hatred or negative feelings towards your grandfather? Did somebody or any one in your family members who actually explain what is this all about? You were young, so you don't.
I was young, yes.
Much, right?
I was young.
Your mom, where you have that negative feeling towards your grandfather?
I was mad. I was sad because with this young girl, we kind of became friends with all my other sisters. We became friends with her. And as we watched her crying because of this situation, I got mad at my grandfather. I'm like, how do you do this? Why are you doing this? Why are you forcing me to do this? She's crying. Yeah. But, he'll be like, okay, they got my cows. And we asked our mom, I said, okay, why is she here? Why do you have to, keep her doing this? And then I remember my mom, because my grandfather, he had other children that were boys, my uncles. They were younger, than him, of course, but they were still in their 40s. So I remember my mother saying to her father that, okay, you are 75 years old. Why can't maybe you can give this young girl to your son who is 40? But my grandfather was like, no, I think they were my cows. So she's my wife. She's not my son's wife. So he was like possessive of her as well. Wow. So that also made me angry. And all of us, my sisters and I, we were mad at my grandfather, saying, why is he forcing her to do this? And that's why we were kind of in cahoots with this young girl when she said she was going to run away. We said, you can run away. We are not going to tell him where you are. She didn't tell us where she was going, but she just said, I guess she figured, maybe she went to her aunt's house, because if she had ran back to her parents' house, they would force her to go back.
Yeah.
So she ran away. She went. We didn't know where she went, but we just were glad that she's no longer there. Because watching her crying and wanting to go to school and not allowed to do that, we kind of felt bad. We're like, oh my goodness, she's like us, but she's not like us. She cannot go to school with us. So we kind of felt for her. We felt for her.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy.
Did you? This is Jill, by the way. Did you feel like the dynamics of your family changed when she was, brought into your grandfather's home?
It changed a little bit because now with my grandmother was still there, and she came and she was our grandmother as well. So I was like, okay, I don't know how this is going to play out, but they kind of make it, they kind of try to normalize the whole situation. And,
Okay.
you know, I know for some other families, if the girl doesn't run away, at some point it becomes normal. It
Okay.
becomes normal. Then life goes on, and
They all have to make it work, right?
they have to
Because
make it
that's the
work. Yeah.
situation.
Yes. Yes. They have
Mhm.
to make it work.
Okay. Well, so I wanted to share a short video clip to everyone and indulge me in a little bit. While I get this video to play, I'm gonna share my screen real quick and show you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you guys are really like doing a great job here. So Bongai, this is for you and for everyone to see. So
Okay.
I know that we are live. So usually when we do our recording, we're really prepared for this. So just like what Bern said, let's all watch this.
Poverty could be the leading reason, but there are other factors that are equally as disturbing as the high rate of teenage marriages.
ndakanzina kumurume ndine 14 years chikaito ndine chikundanda chiromaliseko kuti ndiende kusekondari ndaenda murume anga ane 42 years ndakasvika pakuti pamuri ndine 15 years ndoshuvira kuti dei zvaibvira kuti munhu anonzi anotora kana mwana munhu achine makore kana pasi pe 18 years anofanira kutosungwa kungoita mutemo utinodzi.
Hi, my name is Bongai Mhloyi. I am the CEO and founder of American and African Youth Leadership Foundation. This is a non-profit organization, 501c3, founded in 2010. So our mission is to empower girls through education. So I want you to take a minute right now and imagine a girl that you know. If you have a daughter, if you have a niece, if you have a granddaughter, if you have a friend, if you have a neighbor who is a girl who is 10, 11, 12, or maybe 13, we all know what at this age, what they want to do. They want to play, they want to go sleep over at their friend's house. They want to do what girls at that age are supposed to do, being children, this situation that we got in our program. Her name is Blessing. Blessing is 18 years old now. And before we got her in our program, Blessing lost her parents when she was only 10 years old. And the situation forced her to go and stay with a relative. And this relative had children of his own. And Blessing and her two little brothers went to stay with this man. And he had no choice but to the boys to school, of course. But Blessing was told that she cannot go to school. She has to go find a job and work as a housemaid somewhere, or she has to get married so that she can survive, so that she can find somewhere to stay, something to eat. Fortunately, Blessing knew someone that knew our programs. So she ended up in our program. And Blessing's dreams is to become a scientist. So now Blessing finished high school through our programs. Blessing is starting college this year, 2020. She's happy about that. She's an A student and she is on her way to become an independent woman. She's going to pick her own husband and she's going to get her job when she finishes school. She's excited about that. But we have a lot of girls that are in this situation that are waiting for us to bring them to our program so that they can go to school. they are waiting for us, you and I, to take them out of these terrible situations, put them in school, help them, and make sure that they stay children. They continue to go to school like other children do, not to become brides when they are actually girls. So I'm inviting you to come and join me so that we can help these girls. There's an African proverb that I like a lot. It goes like this: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. So I am inviting you to come with me on this movement so we can all work together and rescue a lot of these girls. One girl at a time. We can do it. So please join me. You can find more information about our organization at www.endchildmarriages.com. Again, is www.endchildmarriages.com. And my name is Bongai Mhloyi. I'm the CEO and founder of American and African Youth Leadership Foundation. Thank you. I'm looking forward to partner with you. I'm looking forward to rescue a lot of girls out of these situations, one girl at a time. So I'm looking forward to work with you. Thank you.
Nice.
So I actually had an opportunity to meet a couple of the girls that were sponsored and in one of Bongai's events. And you know what? Why this thing is so important, this movement, because I was listening to this lady who went through the program, and she decided, like, she was so happy that she was able to choose her own husband, and she decided she was going to pay it forward and sponsor more girls as well to
Wow.
that situation. That is why this movement is so powerful, because it keeps paying forward. And so the more girls we empower, the more girls will do more powerful things.
Absolutely.
So I invite everyone to please donate and sponsor a child. The tuition fee is only $100 per semester for high school, and for college it's $350 per semester, Bongai?
350 is for culinary school. Some of our girls like to go to culinary school. So they have 3 semesters, and each semester is 350, and that covers for everything. Our college girls, they have 2 semesters. So one semester is $500. So for the whole year, it's only $1,000 for the whole year to stay in college, university.
For a purse, you can send somebody to school.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And I love what you're doing. And what more do our listeners need to know about AAYLF to be able to really inspire them if this touches their heart and they want to contribute to this wonderful nonprofit organization? What else about AAYLF do you want to tell us about?
I just want to tell people that it doesn't take too much to change somebody's life. I would tell you a short story. When I started doing this, it was around 2010 when I had my nonprofit organization starting, because I was still helping girls as an individual, not as a nonprofit organization. So I was paying school fees for my 2 nieces that were in high school. And I have a business where I live. So every morning I would stop at Wawa to get a cup of coffee and a donut. Sometimes I get like a croissant or egg or something. And every morning I'll spend $5 in the morning going to work. So one day I sat down, I said, let me calculate and see how much I spent per month. I started by, how much do I spend per week? And then I go to a month and then a year. And when I did that, from that day, I stopped drinking coffee at Wawa. Once in a while, I'll go buy a cup of coffee at Wawa. But I figured out that if I make my own coffee at my house and go to Walmart and get a bag of donuts or bagels, whatever, I can send 3 girls to school.
Wow.
I can send 3 girls to school. So
That's
I stopped
amazing.
doing that. So it doesn't take much. For our high school girls, it's $300 for the whole year for them to stay in school. And it's only $25 a month. If you make a $25 donation every month, you are making it possible for that girl to stay in school and escape all these risks that she would be married off. Because once she's in school, she is safe. So $25, that's like a meal at maybe Red Lobster. So if you one meal a month, you can change someone's life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
so I wanted people to know that it doesn't take, it's not like we say, give us $500 a month or $2,000 a year. It's only $25 a month. And this can make a big difference in somebody's life. You know, this girl.
So do you, I have to ask, you know, a lot of our listeners will want to know, so do you have people do you work with schools directly to be able to sponsor them, or like in that community, how do you make that happen? As you know, someone that's here in the United States, right?
Yes,
so,
I mean, yeah. That's an
it's right. Everybody wants to know, how are you making that happen?
Okay, so beautiful, great question. So I work with two teachers that I work with, because most of these girls are from the ones that I'm working with currently. They're from one specific rural area in Zimbabwe. And I have a school teacher that I know who is a school teacher at this high school. Both her and her husband is school teachers there. So she's the one who helps me select the most vulnerable girls, that because they come to school, they tell them that my father said, you know, if I don't continue with school, he's going to marry me off. Some of them will say, my father said I have to go find a job, either to send myself to school or go work so that I can survive. If I don't do that, he will marry me off to his friend who is probably the same age as the father, obviously. So they will come to this teacher. So she picks those vulnerable girls that are just about to be married off or just about to drop out of school. So she will tell them that, you know, come here, let's see if you fit the criteria. So the criteria for the girls to be in our program is basically that they are about to be married off, their parents, they are orphans, they don't have anyone to send them to school, and whoever the guardian is, they don't really care about them. I have a lot of girls that are going through abuse in their families that are taking care of them. And again, with this same teacher, we sometimes arrange for homes for them to go to stay so that they can be safe. But this teacher is the one who's on the grounds every day. She makes sure that, you know, when I send the fees after people sponsor here, after the fundraising events, I send them the money, and she makes sure that the school fees is paid for each particular girl. And she sends me the receipts here to make sure that I know it's paid. And it's 100% of the $25 or whatever people donate, 100% goes to the girls. Nobody's getting paid. No, we are not going to say, oh, $5 goes to the administration or whatever. 100% goes to the girl. So this teacher works, you know, she helps me select the girls.
Yeah. So how many students now do you have, Bongai?
Okay, right now, currently we have 48 girls that are sponsored. I had 25 girls that when I do my fundraising events, I would pay for those 25. And since I started my virtual events and talking about it, you know, places like this, Expose and Express, people get to know what I do, and people will call and, you know, sponsor girls. So since May, since I started these virtual events, we gained 23 girls that we sponsored.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, I'm just so happy about that. So we have a total of 48 girls that are safe from being married off.
Yes. That's a lot.
Good.
That's a lot.
However, we still have some girls that are on waiting lists. So if we gain a sponsor today or two sponsors today or tomorrow, we can take from that waiting list and we keep adding them to the, you know, ones that are safe, you know, considered safe. But our goal for this year is to have 100 girls sponsored and be rescued from child marriages.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Bongai, I have a question because I've been hearing it's a sponsorship, so it's like $25 a month or something. What if, you know, somebody just have, like right now I only have $10 with me. Can they just donate that 20 right away?
Absolutely.
$10?
Absolutely. Every single penny helps. Even if somebody has $1, is going to go to the pot. And if we have 25 people who donate $1, guess what? That's
That's
$25.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
no money or no amount is small enough, right?
right.
Yes.
Make a difference.
Even 50 cents. And some people donate clothing for the girls as well. So, we are open for, anything that somebody may say, I don't have money, but I might have, like, my girl is outgrowing her clothes. So here's a bag of clothes sent to the girls. We appreciate that as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do. That's good. So where
That's
is
good.
that? Maybe some, because I know a lot of moms are cleaning their closets right now.
Yes.
Where will they ship it? Are you
Yeah, they can
in?
ship it to my house, and I have these drums that I buy, and I send drums to Zimbabwe for the girls about 4 times a year. So I will put in the drum. I put in the drum. We have a guy who has a business of shipping the stuff to Zimbabwe, and somebody will collect it once it gets to Zimbabwe. So, and I have people that I coordinate with, so that's not a problem. So they'll just get it when they get there. Then they send to the girls, and the teachers again will distribute to the girls. So if you have clothes or toiletries for the girls or sanitary napkins, whatever, because we collect almost anything, and we put in the drum, and then the drum off it goes to Zimbabwe.
Wow.
Yes.
So you mean that your foundation is not just accepting money or monetary, but also like items, right?
Yes.
And
Oh, that's
products. That's
good.
good. That's good to know because, see, the good thing about like having this conversation with someone like you is that we learn a lot. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that there's going to be a lot of like awareness,
Yes.
especially now that we talk about this. Like on Facebook, there's a lot of like people watching us today. And I know that they're still going to watch the replay. And I know that, you know what, like I said, when you really want to put yourself out there, if you're really going to be visible, you're going to deliver your value, and you're not just going to offer your business, you're actually sharing them what your business is all about. So whether it's be nonprofit or profit, it's still a business for everyone to know that we are all open for the donations. Burns, you want to say something?
Absolutely. May I just add that we are partner. Well, I've been helping Bongai since May, and we are offering a partnership with small businesses. If you want to partner with us, we have a sponsorship where we advertise you in every event and also on our website. So there's different amounts that you can donate to partner with us, and then there's different levels of advertising attached to that, and it helps immensely in being able to sponsor many girls. And our goal for this year to end with at least 100 girls, and then next year we'll double that. So we're working on right now how to grow this whole foundation's fundraising efforts. So we're gonna start having some items that is going to be sold so that we can
Yeah.
support the foundation itself. And uh, hopefully we can get it soon so we can start. And I'm really excited where this is going because it's really growing. Like a lot of people are seeing the awareness, and I'm just excited for you, Bongai. I'm very
I'm
excited.
excited to thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate your help. Our website is all birds, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, Bongai, so I have one question. So my final question is that, sorry.
Final.
So,
There's never a final question,
yeah.
Jenny.
In.
What are you talking
Actually,
about?
so, because I know that we have actually 1 hour to really talk about Bongai and her advocacy. So, Bongai, my last question. This is for me, so I don't know about others here. So, who is Bongai Mhloyi?
Well, Bongai Mhloyi, I am Bongai Mhloyi. I am a wife, I am a mother of 2 grown sons. And one of my sons, he used to live here, but he moved back to Zimbabwe about 6 years ago. But now he lives in Cape Town, South Africa. He has 2 beautiful girls. And my younger son, he is an LPN by profession, but right now he's managing our business that I retired from. It's a bar, so I'm too old to be staying up till 2 a.m. So he took over, he's managing that. and he lives about 15 minutes from where I live. He has 2 sons that are supposed to be coming to my house today, and they are on the way. So I am a mother of 2, a grandmother of 4.5. I am a sister, and I'm a friend. I love fellowshipping with people, meeting people. This COVID thing is driving me crazy because I love to go and meet people and collaborate with people and share my story with other people and also hear other people's stories. Like, you know, you, Jenny and Beth, like we've known each other, but we haven't met, but we talk like we're friends. So I really like the friendship that I get when I go and meet other people. And I would say I'm a kind of a private person. I don't talk too much, but I think I do talk a little bit.
I think you overcome that already.
Well, I think Bongai is like telling us that, yeah, she's very shy, but because of her advocacy and her purpose here on earth, she was able to develop, develop that energy to just express herself and, it's for in behalf, in behalf of all the people and the children who need help. So thank you so much, Bongai. I really appreciate your beautiful soul and your presence here on Expose and Express online talk show. And I want to thank you all for watching this. And if you want to reach out, if you want to join our movements for the end child marriages, kindly please, Burns, can you share more and promote? Because I know that you're part of this as well and you're helping Bongai.
Yeah.
So can you please talk more about it?
So we invite people to donate at endchildmarriages.org, and you can also find out how to be a sponsor, like to sponsor a girl through high school or through college. And as Bongai has mentioned, there's a lot of girls who like to go into culinary school, and it's only like what, $350 every month?
$350 per semester.
It's per semester, and it allows them to develop life skills to actually get themselves out of poverty and help their family and put a stop to poverty, domestic abuse, and ultimately child marriages. So I cannot stress enough how a little donation could help someone's life. And so please, I urge you to donate endchildmarriages.org, and it's only like $25 a month, price of a meal that we can actually make at home instead of eating out. I mean, I'm speechless because I'm so happy that this is out. Like, we're helping a good cause, and
yes.
Well, and I just want to say, during as women in business, all of us are growing our businesses, and we're all in different fields, and to be able to support other women that are making an impact in this world, not just here locally, but across the world, is just so inspiring. So thank you, Bongai, for joining us today and sharing your story. And we are so inspired by your work. And I hope our listeners are inspired, because that's how we make an impact, and that's how we make this world a better place. So thank you.
Jill?
Yes.
Do you have a question about the Queen of Cup?
The Queen of Cup. Here's the cup.
Well, yes, everybody's got their cup. Oh, look at it. I see it. No, you've explained, Bongai, so much about your passion for it. On a day-to-day basis, when you think about your organization and the impact that you're making in this world, like, how does that feel? Like, what does that feel like?
I don't think I can explain that or express that enough, because it makes me feel so good. Just to think about the impact that I'm making to these young girls, not only her family, not only her community, the country, and eventually the world is going to benefit from just that little, work that I do. and to see the girls progress, you know, because I start with these girls when they are in like grade 8, and they go on grade 9, 10, 11, 12, then they go to form 5 and 6, and then they go to university, they graduate, and to attend their weddings when they pick their own husbands. I mean, it's just, you know, it makes me feel speechless. I can't even explain the feeling, but it's a good feeling, because like a couple months ago, I just had one girl, I think I posted her on Facebook, beautiful young girl that I started with, and she was in high school, she went to college, she graduated, she met her husband in college, and I was supposed to be in the wedding in April, but then COVID came, I couldn't go. She kind of postponed it, thinking that I'll be able to go maybe May or June. It didn't happen, but she ended up doing a small wedding, but the big wedding is gonna come when things are okay. But just to see those girls blossoming into beautiful women and doing what they love to do, living a dream that, you know, if I didn't come in, they probably would be somewhere else, or maybe dead, or maybe with 5 children with a 70-year-old man. So to see that, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
That was
well, and I love, Bongai, I love that, you know, especially, you know, Burns is helping you with your mission, setting big goals, right? And to be able to go from 1 girl to 100 girls, and next year 200 girls. I mean, that's amazing. And to be able to have our listeners, you know, feel touched and impacted by your story, and to really take action, right? So your story is an amazing story. Your nonprofit is amazing. But what we need everybody to do is take action today, and to check out your website, to be able to say, yes, I am going to help a girl today, right? Yes. And so many of us are fortunate. We grew up in, you know, an ideal family with no worries about like who we're gonna, you know, be interacting with on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of these girls are scared, right? Yes. And to be able to take that fear out of their life because they know that they're going to be getting an education, that's awesome. So
it's really awesome, because just to add on to that, if somebody sponsors a girl, you will get to get her picture, you get to get her story, you get to get her school progress, how she's doing in school. And I also encourage sponsors to keep to build a relationship with the girls that they're sponsoring, if they choose to. If not, that's fine. But I have a few other women that are sponsoring girls, and they are communicating with this girl, because some of them have a lot of trauma because of what happened to them. To have your own father or your own family tell you that because you are a girl, you are not going to school, you are going to be married off to somebody that you don't know, that traumatizes them a lot. So a lot of them, they need counseling. They need to hear from different people that, you know, they're beautiful, they matter, they are somebody that's just as good as the boys are. So they need to hear that from, you know, I tell them all the time, but if they hear that from some other person, they'll be like, oh, okay, sure, maybe I do. So I encourage, you know, people to you know, build a relationship with a girl. You know, you will like it. You will like it. You know,
well, and it's part of, you know, in so many of our episodes, Bongai, we talk about filling up our cup, right? And to be able to make ourselves feel really good. And we talk about meditation and exercise and having fun with friends and family. But like, this is another way, everyone, to fill up your cup, to be able to give. And in this way is just pretty amazing. And as you've explained for yourself, like, this is a way that really inspires you every single day when you wake up. And to have that is pretty, you know, whether it's this organization or a different organization that you feel, you know, passionate about, I encourage all of our listeners to really take that action, because that's what, you know, this world needs, especially now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love
thank
that.
you, Bongai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Actually, I often talk a lot, but today I'm just really quiet because
she talks a lot.
No, because it hits me badly. if the viewers don't know, I got two girls right now. They're 17 and 15. And just listening to your story, it's like I don't want my kids to be like that, you know. And the thing is,
Are you crying?
almost I'm crying again. No, I'm the crier in the group. But it really touched my heart because as I have these teenagers who are very, very active in social media, they want to do a lot of things in this world, but they don't know what's really going on in the other side of the world.
Yes.
And if they could just, like, right now, I think what you did is a good platform. Kids can watch it on YouTube, or I'm going to encourage my kids and even my followers in my blog to actually watch this episode, because you actually made action.
Yes.
It's not just having this idealism. It's not just having this willingness to help. You actually want to make action. And I know kids, teenagers, they could really relate on that kind of issue. Like for them, sometimes the problem is what clothes to wear, or I don't like the clothes I'm wearing. But they did it, it because I have the girls.
Right.
So, but this thing is like, you are not only opening the minds of older people, women, but also all the children, the younger generation, that they know that they could make a difference. I mean, some of them have jobs or they have savings. I'm sure they could even spare $5 for this cause, and they could make a difference on somebody else's life, which is the same age as them.
Absolutely.
And I think you're really empowering not only the older people, but the kids as well.
This is
And
true.
thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Rochi. I really appreciate what you said. And you're right about like being so quiet the whole time. And because I do have a daughter, and it's crazy to really have a daughter. I think she's the only daughter that I have. So I always like pray to God to give her, guidance, to protect her, and all these positive things in life. So it's really a pressure for me to take care of my children, right? But can you just imagine if you're in the shoes of all these parents, of all these mothers who were forced to do something like that just to have food on the table. And I am gonna cry, but I cannot. I cannot phantom. I cannot swallow the thought of me doing that.
Yeah.
To my children.
It's amazing. And I'll also add that, Roch, you said you have your teenage girls. Sometimes I encourage parents here when I do my virtual events, because there I will have some of the girls from Zimbabwe that are in the program attend, because the teacher is always on the Zoom with us during the event. And sometimes you get to hear the girls themselves speak, or you can at least see them, because once you see their faces. So, it's good for the teenage girls here to see what other girls, in different worlds, what they go through. And I kind of, there's another girl here in the USA that I work with in my other program here. And she is now communicating with one of the girls that is in my program. And I put them on Zoom every week. They are building a relationship. They're about the same age. They're both 13. So the girl that she's talking with, the 13-year-old that's in Zimbabwe, she is kept child married. She was just about to be married off to a, I think, 6-year-old guy when she was only 12. She's 13 now, so she's in the program. She's safe. So sometimes I hear them talk. I set them up on Zoom, and then I leave so that they can talk, there, whatever they're talking about. But I kind of, easy drop sometimes. So I hear them talking and giggling just like girls should do. Then I'm like, wow. And they'll be asking each other questions. So what is it like over there? So what happened? And then this other girl be like, I was just about to be married off, and now I'm so happy that I'm in school. And then the girl here will be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, something like that was almost about to happen to you. So just to get them have that experience, that because you are here, you have all those advantages here. You don't have to go through that. But other girls your age, they go through all this. in other countries.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bongai. Like again, so I really hate to end our show today because I wanna share more. I wanna talk about more of your amazing story and what you do for others. Thank you so much, Jill, Burns, and Rochi for being here, for saying yes to Facebook Live. I know that we didn't plan this, but I want everyone to know that we are open for your donations, for joining our fundraising for AAYLF. And can you please tell us what is the meaning of AAYLF?
Absolutely. So AAYLF is American and African Youth Leadership Foundation. Why did I call it that? Because here in Pennsylvania, where I live, and there's a city that's near me, which is called Coatesville. That's where I work with young girls over there. They are also in underserved communities. So I teach etiquette, I teach social graces, I teach leadership skills, I teach them social skills so that when they grow up, they know how to conduct themselves, they know how to present themselves to professional people. As professional people, I teach them dining skills, dining etiquette and protocol, so that when they are entrepreneurs or professionals, they know how to act and how to behave. That's what the American part of it is. And then the African part of it is my girls, my vulnerable girls. That's why it's American and African. A lot of people sometimes confuse, they think I'm saying African American. No, it's American and African, just because I work with the two continents. And I am privileged to call these two continents home, because this is my home. I'm a citizen here. Zimbabwe is my home. I'm a citizen there. So I have two homes. So that's a privilege for me.
Thank you so much, Bongai. So ladies, you know what to do, right? You know what to do. So Bongai, this is what we do here in Expose and Express online talk show. No matter how heavy the story is, no matter how great the story is, we would always end up happy, giggling, and
shaking.
So this is our signature wave. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. This is amazing.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. And thank you, beautiful people, for watching us today. I know that you didn't expect that we're going to go on live today, but I hope that we somehow gave you an awareness of what's going on outside your home, outside this beautiful world. But here we are. We are trying to expose ourselves and express ourselves just the way it is. I love you so much. God bless you. I am sending you love, light, healing, and abundance. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.